So today on the channel, we have a watch today I'm very excited to show you guys. It is a Grand Seiko. It is the SBGC231. It is a spring drive chronograph, limited edition of only 500 pieces in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the spring drive movement. And it gets the most complicated spring drive movement that they make currently. That is the 9R96 inside. And there's a lot going on this watch. You either love it or you hate it. I think a lot of people are on the fence about these watches. I am not. I clearly love this watch. It's kind of the reason why when I asked Exquisite Timepieces if I could borrow it, they said yes, and I was very excited. And I've actually posted this watch on my Instagram dozens of times, at least a dozen times, because I love it so much. So it comes in an outer cardboard box. That cardboard box has a big manual in it. It's for the spring drive operation instructions, basically. It's very thick. You have to read that whole thing to understand how to use the watch. And then inside there, you're getting a warranty card and then a little pamphlet on that warranty. And that is it. I believe this also comes with an extra strap. I'm not entirely sure of that, but I think there's an area here, inside here, where you can get an extra strap. I don't have that to show you guys because, like I said, this was lent to the channel by Exquisite Timepieces. Now, I definitely recommend checking out exquisitetimepieces.com, their website, because they are an authorized dealer for a number of brands. However, they are an authorized dealer for Grand Seiko and also Seiko. So far, I have only borrowed Seikos from Exquisite Timepieces, and they have gotten some of the really cool stuff that I really would like to get my hands on. And this is one of those watches right here. So definitely check out their website. I'll put a link down below. I am not supported by them in any way. They do lend me watches from time to time, and I very much appreciate that. And this is one of the watches that they have lent me. Like I mentioned, this is a limited edition of 500 pieces. It's in titanium, so you're getting a titanium case, a titanium bracelet, pushers, bezel, case back, and buckle in titanium. Now, you might recognize this buckle. This is sort of a Marine Master buckle, or Marine Master style buckle on here. There are a few watches that get this outside of the Seiko lineup of watches from Grand Seiko. I believe some of their divers actually get this. I'm not sure why they put this on this specific watch. Kind of strange, but I like it. It doesn't feel the best as compared to maybe some other ratcheting adjustable buckles from some major brands, but it is really nice and it does work. So this gets a sapphire bezel. It gets a dial, which they describe as a tiger's mane, or a lion's mane, excuse me, a lion's mane. It is glossy, but it has sort of a texture to it. It's almost like a black brown, depending on the light that you're actually looking at it in. And then you get, of course, a chronograph function. You have indices that are applied. Those are filled with Lume. I believe it is Lume Bright. And then you get two counters here. You get a 30-minute counter and then a 12-hour counter here. And then you have a running seconds over there by the 9 o'clock. So these are sort of stacked, and then you have just the running seconds there alone on the 9 o'clock side. Right below that, you get a power reserve, and then, of course, you have a GMT hand. So a lot is going on this dial. And then, of course, you have the date. You get the date at the 3 o'clock. It's a large date window. They put a very large date window on it, so you get a very large date. And when there are single-digit dates, it's actually elongated, so you have a very large font for the date. The bezel, which I mentioned is in sapphire crystal, is also lumed, and you get a 24-hour scale on that bezel. Now, what they have done with this specific model, and they've done it with a couple of others, they've put a very angular case and a very short lug span on here. So this actually does wear smaller than most of the chronographs that previously have come out from Grand Seiko. And they've actually continued to come out with Grand Seikos in this case and the previous cases as well. So this measures, I think, around 43 millimeters at that bezel, and that's basically what the watch measures at. So it's 43 millimeters. If you measure this at the case itself, depending on how you catch it, but I'm getting 44.5 millimeters. I would say it wears like a 43 or a 44 millimeter watch. It doesn't wear very much bigger than that. It is thick. So that is one of the things you need to really think about when you're looking at a Grand Seiko chronograph. 17 millimeters thick, 16.9, doesn't make it any much better. And that's because, of course, you're getting a domed sapphire crystal and you're getting a sapphire crystal display case back. But it is a very complicated watch, so it takes up a lot of room. And you do get to see the movement from the back, and it is one of the best looking movements that you can get from sort of a standard watch company. They are a luxury watch company, obviously, but what I'm talking about is a movement from, you know, the Rolexes out there, Omegas, Grand Seikos. This is one of the best looking movements that you could probably look at, hands down, through from all these brands that I just mentioned. So it's a really beautiful movement. You get to see the column wheel right there in action. It's just awesome. And then you have that gold medallion on there. Very, very beautiful. Let's look at the lug to lug. I just wanted to do that really quickly as well. So the lug to lug isn't very big on this watch, and it has female end links. So you're getting a very true lug to lug of 49.7. So that's actually not that bad, considering, and then it's about just over 50 millimeters, including the bracelet. That's really not that bad, considering that this is a 44 millimeter watch. So the lug span is very short. You could see they are very cut off, sort of stubby looking lugs. This gets like a 70s style to no shape case, but it's very angular. And I think it works really well. Now, I know that could be definitely a polarizing style, but for me, I really like it. And then you get an H-link bracelet on here. I really like this bracelet. I like it a lot better than a lot of Grand Seiko bracelets where you get that sort of hairline, that double hairline polish down the middle. You see that on a lot of other watches. I actually have a watch here that is a Brights, a Seiko Brights, and that gets that same sort of treatment down the middle. I don't mind it, but I prefer a bracelet that doesn't have that. This is an all brushed bracelet, by the way, so they actually put no polishing on this bracelet whatsoever, while the case is entirely polished. There's a couple of little facets of brushing, but other than that, mostly all polished throughout the entire case itself. So very strange that they did that. I think they did that because maybe the bracelet would scratch more than the case, so it would look better if it wasn't in a polish. Since it's titanium, that makes a lot of sense as well. The entire buckle is titanium, and then you get the GS logo right there. And it does ratchet. So this is the Marine Master, as I mentioned. The Marine Master buckle, when you flip this up, it could ratchet out, or it just slides out, and then it will ratchet back in, just like that. Can you use this as a micro adjust? No. You do have micro adjust on the bracelet right here, but it is manual, so you have to use an actual strap changing tool. This is definitely used for diving. Now, will you be going diving with your Grand Seiko chronograph that only has 100 meters of water resistance? Probably not. But it's interesting. I'm not sure why they did this. It is pressed, so there are elements here that are pressed. There are elements that are forged or milled, excuse me. But it does feel a little bit on the sort of pressed side of things. It could be because it's titanium, but that's always been a complaint from people who like Grand Seiko in general and Seiko. That's just something that they do with these clasps. I don't know why. For a high-end watch like this, especially at the price. This is a $12,900 watch. It is very expensive, so it's strange that they do that. A lot of the other chronographs also get larger pushers, so what they've done on this, they've sort of put these slightly different style pushers on here, and you can see there, it flies back. You have a very smooth sweep second on that chronograph. You also get a nice sweep second on the running seconds at 9 o'clock. So one of the things I like about Grand Seikos is that you sort of get that double sweep. You get the sweep of that chronograph hand when you have it running, and then you get the sweep of the second hand at the 9 o'clock position. That's pretty cool. And everything is really solid, sets really nicely. The chronograph function is excellent. You have a screwed-in crown on here as well. And then, of course, you have a GMT function that is a true GMT function, or a traveler's GMT function. I won't call it true. I've been trying not to do that anymore. And you can see it is the local hour hand that actually jumps when you change the GMT. Awesome watch. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. The setup here is purely functional, so you have the 30-minute counter and the 12-hour counter on one side on top of each other. That's the reason why they do it. And then they sort of throw the second hand off to the left side, something that isn't very important for timing. Obviously, if you are timing something, you want to have those close to the crown, close to the pushers. Kind of the reason why they do that. Also, the sort of oddly placed power reserve. Again, I like it. I can see how a lot of people will not like that. And then it has Grand Seiko up here. Previously, they were signed, double signed. I think this has GMT on here somewhere. Yeah, it says GMT right at the bottom, right above the 6 o'clock index. Usually, I don't mind a little bit of text, but since this is such a busy dial, having that GMT is really unnecessary. But previously, it was signed Grand Seiko, and it was signed Seiko, and then it would have the GMT as well. So they've actually removed some of that text when they moved over to the Grand Seiko branding only. So there you go. Very quickly, I'll throw it on my wrist, and then we will do a lume shot, because this is actually really nicely lumed. It has a lot of lume, actually, because of that lumed sapphire bezel. So today I have on my AP Royal Oak. This is the Diver, and it is a very heavy, very chunky watch. Actually wears way less comfortable than this watch. This is a 42 millimeter watch. I think it's around 42 millimeters. You know, I always say that and I never really actually measure it. But with those crown guards, it actually wears like a 44 millimeter watch. So if you measure it at the crown guard, it comes in at 44 millimeters. But if you measure it at the bezel, you're getting 42 millimeters. So technically, this is a 42 millimeter watch, but with those big crown guards on the right side of the watch, you're getting it at 44 millimeters. So there you go. Anyway, here it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. It definitely does not wear small. So it does not wear small, and that is mainly because of the thickness. The lug to lug really is great. It actually does not even nearly come close to hanging off the edge of my wrist. But in general, it does wear large. It wears just as big as that AP Royal Oak. However, it is way lighter, and it is much more comfortable than that watch. That watch is sort of slab-sided. This has some curvature. Even though it's angular, it just wears very, very comfortable. And I mean, I own that watch, and I wear it, you know, kind of sparingly because of that. When I wear it, I find myself not feeling comfortable with that watch on my wrist. This is easy to wear, and it is a beautiful watch. Anyway, I will be very sad to see this go, because I will have to return it to Exquisite Timepieces. Definitely check out their website. I will put a link down below to their website if you are interested in this watch, if you are interested in any Seikos, because they carry basically the gamut. So from Seiko 5 all the way up to Grand Seiko, watches like this. So if you like Seiko, they have tons of them, and they also carry tons of other Swiss brands. You name it, they have it. So definitely check them out. So very quickly, a lume shot, and then we will wrap up the video. So say what you will about Seiko, Grand Seiko, they always do a pretty good job with lume, even on their inexpensive watches, but of course they're expensive watches as well. So like I said, this is a $13,000 watch. It's $12,900, something like that. It is an expensive watch. You're getting a lot of technology for that money. You're getting a, you know, titanium case. They're giving you a lot, but it is still very expensive. But they have not skipped on the lume, so that's something to be said. That sapphire bezel is lumed. It is beautiful. It's bicolored, so you're getting like a minty bluish green on the bezel, and then you're getting a green lume on the indices and hands. Excellent lume here. Very well done. Just a beautiful watch, in my opinion. Very complicated, very busy looking watch, and it's large. So you either have to love it for what it is, or you're never going to really like it. I love it. I think it's pretty cool. And I really want to have a Grand Seiko chronograph in my life very, very soon. This is awesome. I am very excited about this watch. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I really want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you guys think of this watch. Definitely check out exquisitetimepieces.com. they have lent me in this watch. Like I said, they don't support me in any way. However, they have lent me a couple of watches, and I very much appreciate that. So please check them out. Helps me bring you watches like these, and I get to choose some watches here and there. That would be awesome. So I could bring you watches that I choose to see on the channel, and hopefully you guys enjoy them as well. Please also don't forget to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.